Hi, I'm Peter McNulty. I teach your son or daughter calculus at Loyola Academy. 3 years ago, I participated in Loyola's iPad pilot program. It was a great year. I read a lot, I learned a lot, and I was exposed to a lot of the new and emerging trends in education. The trend that attracted me most was the flipped class model. That may be something you've heard of in the media or read about. So 3 years ago, or I should say 2 years ago, I flipped my geometry class, and I was really pleased with the results. The level of student engagement was much higher. I was really pleased with the evidence of student learning. I liked to see that the students taking more accountability for their own learning, that I was less of the holder of knowledge and more a resource for them to use. I saw a great deal of growth in their maturity that year. I saw less course fatigue as the year rolled on into the spring and May. And I found that they were developing more communication and collaboration skills, skills that will certainly serve them here at Loyola, but definitely, I think, beyond into college and in their careers. So I broke this video into 4 parts. The first is just an introduction, so you get a chance to see my face and hear my voice. Then I want to show you a video that I borrowed from YouTube that explains the flipped class model. I'll then show you some of the resources and apps that we use in the class. And then finally, I'm showing you some feedback from some of my students in my geometry class after the first year of that flip. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video, and if you have any questions, I look forward to talking about them on Thursday night. Thanks for watching.
Every day, 7.2 million students walk into classrooms throughout the United States. These classrooms generally look the same. 30 students sit in rows of desks, taking notes in their notebooks, while the teacher stands at a whiteboard teaching a lesson. Regardless of ability level, each student receives the exact same information at the exact same pace. As Ms. Jackson presents this same material, the students respond differently. Tommy gets it, while Allison is bored, and Maria is lost. At the end of the day, these same students head home. While at home, they sit at the kitchen table doing their homework and trying to remember what Ms. Jackson said. Students like Tommy make it most of the way through the homework, while others, like Allison, find it easy and fly through it. At the same time, students like Maria get frustrated and need some extra help. Ms. Jackson recognizes that students have different needs and would love to work individually with each student, but this requires time and resources that her school does not have. One solution to this problem is the flipped classroom. Here's what it looks like. While at home, students sit in their rooms watching videos of the lesson that Ms. Jackson assigned. Tommy is still able to work at his normal pace. Allison is no longer bored because now she can use this new technology to fast forward through the easy material. And Maria is no longer frustrated because she can review the material that she didn't understand by pausing and rewinding. When she really gets stuck, she can get help from her classmates. New technology platforms like Moodle and Edmodo make it easy for her to chat online with her classmates. Just as the homework is different, the classroom is different as well. Instead of standing in front of the room speaking, Ms. Jackson walks around the room. She checks in with Tommy as he works collaboratively with some students. She pushes Allison further with some more challenging work. And she helps Maria with the pieces that she still doesn't quite get. In the traditional model, the teacher stands between the students and the knowledge. But with the flipped classroom model, the students have direct access to the knowledge, and the teacher serves as a coach, mentor, and guide, helping the students access this knowledge. The flipped classroom leverages technology in a way that lets both Ms. Jackson and the students make the most of their time and efforts.
Okay, so that's the flipped classroom. I gotta say that in the 2 years that I've had my geometry class flipped, I've been really pleased with the results. I'm pleased with the atmosphere when I walk in or when the students walk in. They just seem to be pretty excited about class. I mean, it's a nice way for them to spend 42 minutes. They have a lot more social interaction. They have a lot more resources at their disposal, so there's less frustration. I'm there to help them. As you'll see on Thursday night, we sit in cooperative learning groups, so they have their partners there to help them. They have a lot more resources available to them through the first app I want to talk about, called iTunes U. iTunes U is the platform that we push, or that we use to run all of our classes here at Loyola. And one of the great advantages of iTunes U is that we can put more information at the student's disposal on iTunes U. For instance, in the past, when I would have been a student in school, I would have done my homework and maybe looked up and been able to find the odd answers in the back of the book. And if I didn't get it right, it was really difficult to see exactly where my mistake was. But now, because of electronic media and iTunes U, we can not only show the answers to the odd problems, we can give the answers to all the problems. And not just the answers, we can give them worked out solutions. So the students can go and find where they made their own mistake. And if they still don't understand it, they can come to me with a much more focused question. This is one of the reasons that I'm seeing greater development and greater accountability on the part of the students in the flipped class model. Because they can be. They're not so reliant on me for all their learning. Now, another way that the flipped class promotes interaction and communication is through an app we use called Edmodo. Now, Edmodo is essentially Facebook for education. So I have a closed group on the internet for my calculus students in both my classes, and if one of them has a question at night, they can log into Edmodo and type in their question. Another student in the class can respond to the question. Both the questioner and the responder get extra credit just for participating in the class, just for participating on Edmodo and helping each other out. Now, some questions might be more complicated than others, so we use another app called EduCreations. EduCreations allows students to make whiteboard videos with their voice, kind of explaining how they might have done a problem. Students use and help each other to get a better idea and to kind of keep up with the class and to advance their own learning. Last year in my geometry class, I had students making far more videos than I had to limit the amount of extra credit I was giving. And students found that by making the videos, they were learning the material better than when they just were receiving the information. The Chinese say to teach is to learn twice, and I think the EduCreations video are evidence of that. All right, the last app that we use with great frequency is called Nearpod. And Nearpod is the means for me to kind of send out a quick formative assessment. Now, formative assessment is assessment that the grades don't go in the grade book necessarily, but it gives students an idea of where they are in terms of their understanding before a formal assessment takes place. It's one that does go in the grade book. So by using Nearpod, I can send out a quiz to the students as a class opener or something. They can take the quiz and it will be instantly graded for them, so they see how they did and they have their work there and they can figure out where their mistake was, or it starts a great discussion in class. Okay, we do use other apps. There's graphing software called Desmos, which we make use of from time to time, but I'm still, because of the ACT and that you can't use the iPad on the ACT, I still am encouraging the students to use their TI 83s. I think, and 84s. I think that's a great graphing utility and really the one that I want them using in this class, and I suspect they'll probably be using it next year in college. All right, I'd like to finish up the video with some feedback that I received from some of my, well, they're seniors now, many of them, well, juniors and seniors, but they're just 3 interviews I conducted at the end of my first year of flipping, and I just asked some pretty candid questions to see what the students thought of the flip. So, once again, thanks for watching. How did you like the flipped classroom?
This past year, I really enjoyed the flipped classroom. It was really nice because when I was studying for a test or when I didn't understand something, instead of waiting until the next day to ask the teacher, I could just go online and look at the videos. And it really helped guide me through my homework and through the year. I think it gave me the key steps I needed to really do well in the class and understand the material.
Do you feel like you learned the material this year in geometry?
I think I did, yeah. I think that the flipped classroom at first it kind of hurt me a little bit because I didn't really know how to take advantage of it, but once I used it more often and rewatched the videos and took better notes, then I think the flipped classroom helped me learn the material a lot better.
Okay. So what do you think are some of the disadvantages of the flipped class?
I think it's really easy to get behind on the videos, just kind of skip watching them and try and figure the problems out on your own. And when you don't watch the videos and you kind of fall a couple of videos behind, then it's really a problem. Like, you really need to stay on top of the videos. So if you're not on top of them, then it's going to hurt you in tests.
Do you think a flipped class requires more self-discipline or less self-discipline than a traditional class?
I think it definitely requires more self-discipline because if you, like I said, if you don't stay on top of the videos, then you're definitely going to fall behind on the quizzes and tests. And I think also you need to take your own notes. Well, in class, if you're teaching in class, then it's kind of like you have to take your own notes and because the teacher's there. But when you're at home, sitting in your house, there's no one there making sure that you're taking the stuff down and making sure that it's really sinking in. So I think that it definitely, the flipped classroom definitely requires more self-discipline.
Can you offer next year's class any tips for succeeding in geometry?
I think that some tips I would give the new geometry students would be that they really need to watch the videos thoroughly. Like, you can't just, if you didn't watch the video the night before, you can't just fast forward through the video and try and find the important parts. You really have to watch the video and pause it and rewind to make sure you understand everything that's in the video.
What are some tips that you used to really understand a video?
Some things that I use to really understand the video, like I said, I would pause the video. You know, if you don't get something, or even if you think you do get something, it's good to rewind because kind of the second time it sinks in more. Also, taking notes helps a lot, especially writing them down. For me, I think when you write things down, it really helps you remember them better.
So you think that's better than taking a screenshot?
I think so. I think a lot of people take screenshots for notes with the iPads, but I think that's kind of the easy way out. I mean, with the screenshot, you can kind of look back at it, but when you actually take the notes down, then it really helps it stick in your mind a lot better.
How long would you say it takes to watch a 10-minute video?
I think a 10-minute video should take about 20 minutes probably, including all the note-taking and pausing it.
How did the flipped class affect your studying for finals?
I think actually one of the biggest advantages of having a flipped class is when you're studying for finals and you don't remember or you have to refresh yourself on a lesson you had earlier in the year. You don't have to come in earlier to review your tests. You can just go back and rewatch what you learned in the first place, and it's really helpful to just get the full Monty back into your brain.
Okay, there's some pretty candid feedback that I would love for you to share with your sons and daughters. I know that I've kind of passed on my advice for them that have come from other students, but you can't hear that kind of stuff from too many people. I want to thank you for watching the video. I know it's a bit longer than the ones I make for the students, but if you have any questions, please bring them on Thursday night. I love the conversation. I think this is an exciting step in education, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. So once again, thanks for watching.